Welcome to the World History 1 lecture series. At the end of each slide there will be a 10-second delay. Use this time to pause the presentation and complete your notes. When you are done, push play and you will move forward. This lecture will begin in 5 seconds. Welcome to World History 1 Lecture 4.3 on Chinese philosophies, and let's look once again at how we can sustain ancient Chinese civilization. But this time, let's look at it as a four-part process. There's our goal, there are issues in the way of reaching our goal, there are solutions to those issues, and then there are results. Our goal, sustaining Chinese civilization for 1300 years and beyond. But our two issues are: one, Chinese geography is better than Mesopotamia, but worse than India. And two, outsiders, like the Mongols, are going to try to change Chinese civilization. So what solutions do the Chinese come up with? Well, one thing they try to do is to build a great wall to keep out invaders. The results, we know, that does not work. So what else can we do? The Chinese create a dynastic system. The results? This works great, but we might need something else. Well, we have other things. We have the use of the civil service exam, calligraphy, and pagodas that support the dynastic system, but they only support the dynastic system so much. So we need something else that will support this idea of dynasties and sustainability. What we're going to do is we're going to develop philosophies to reinforce all of this stuff regarding dynasties. And this is the missing piece to sustainability. Go to the next slide. It's not like Chinese philosophies develop out of thin air. Instead, these philosophies develop as the concept of dynasty develops in China. A philosophy is the rational investigation of the truths and principles of being, knowledge, or conduct. In other words, for the Chinese, it's a way of life. But the Chinese did not start off as a unified civilization with a set philosophy. Instead, in the Shang Dynasty, 1166 BCE to 1122 BCE, kings controlled small areas and likely led small clans. You were on your own. It's not until the Zhou Dynasty, 1122 BCE to 256 BCE, that we see the use of feudalism, where local lords governed their own lands but owed military service and other forms of support to the ruler. For example, here's the Duke of Zhou, and he's going to consolidate his power. And it works like this. Everyone, all of these local lords are on their own, except when the ruler, the Duke of Zhou, demands their help. Go to the next slide. It's easy when you're only asking for help every once in a while, but what happens when you take control and try to rule over everybody? This is the issue faced by Shi Huangdi from the Qin dynasty, and you learned last lecture that he proclaims himself the first emperor of China in 221 BCE. But he's got a problem. How do I enforce my rule? So Shi Huangdi uses a philosophy called legalism to consolidate his rule. Legalism is based on two principles. Number one, man is evil and goodness must be acquired. Number two, man must follow strict laws and suffer harsh punishment in order to acquire goodness. Shi Huangdi is a tough guy. In fact, if you want to know what he thought about humans, he builds himself a terracotta army to protect himself in the afterlife. Go to the next slide. As you can imagine, legalism is not exactly popular with people because it is so harsh. So they are going to turn to an older philosophy to achieve the goal of sustainability. Confucianism starts around 500 BCE and is based on the teachings of Kong Qui. You know him as Confucius. Confucianism is positive compared to legalism, but it is still a way to reinforce Chinese methods for sustainability. Confucianism is based on the following beliefs: humans are good, respect your elders, follow a code of politeness, emphasize getting a good education, worship your ancestors, remain in balance in yourself, yin and yang, and revere and love your parents. Filial piety. That is Confucianism. Go to the next slide. There is one last philosophy, which is older still than Confucianism, that the Chinese will use to sustain their civilization, and that's Daoism or Taoism. Now, Daoism and Taoism, the words are interchangeable, and it's based on the teachings of Laozi, who lived from 640 to 531 BCE. In fact, Confucianism takes ideas from Taoism, and all three philosophies will be used together by rulers to achieve sustainability in Chinese civilization. And Taoism is based on the following beliefs: live with humility, live a simple life, and find inner peace. The yin and the yang represent opposites in nature, and live in harmony and with nature. These philosophies support the concept of dynasty, and this is why the Chinese are able to sustain their civilization for 1300 years. That's it for this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in class.